you all.
Estoy muy dolida por todo lo que pasó.
We're bound to get justice for Jordan.
And you feel no remorse for that?
I would kill him again.
Mothers are known for their affection, care, and love. They are like a gift of God. But sometimes these mothers have an evil face, either due to any mental problem or their nature. Let's begin with our first case. In March 2015, authorities in Detroit made a horrifying discovery when they found the bodies of Blair's two children, Stoney Blair and Stephen Barry, in a deep freezer in her apartment. The children had been dead for years, hidden away while their mother continued to live in the same home with her two surviving children.
In her confession, she says she killed 15-year-old Stoney Ann Blair and 8-year-old Stephen Barry because they were harming her youngest son since he was in diapers. She said she asked the kids more questions and then, quote, "I went back upstairs and started punching Stephen till he said he would tell the truth. How long has Stephen been in the freezer? I want to say 2 years. How long has Stoney been in the freezer? About 1 year. She died May 25th, but I don't remember the year. It's a blur. When did Stephen die? August 30th, maybe 2012.
Blair, a mother of 4, confessed to killing her 13-year-old daughter, Stoney, and 9-year-old son, Stephen. She claimed she did it because they had been abusing her youngest son, a claim that was never substantiated.
I didn't tell her to lift the body.
Can you imagine?
Talking about.
You want to talk about your surviving children, though, Michelle? You didn't ever consider turning yourself in?
If my son told me that he did not want me to go after what happened with Stephen, after I killed Son, do you really think I was about to turn myself in because of her? Hell no. No. No.
And you feel no remorse for that?
I would kill him again.
Blair admitted to torturing and brutally killing her children. She beat them, burned them with scalding water, and ultimately took their lives, all while her other children watched or were aware of what was happening. Blair showed no remorse during her court appearances. She had several outbursts, including one during a custody hearing where she screamed at the father of her surviving children, blaming him for not being there to protect them. She openly admitted to her crimes, saying she would do it again if she had to, and expressed no regret for her actions.
As a mother, one of your primary responsibilities was to protect your kids. And in that respect, you failed in the worst possible way. There's nothing that can be done at this point to change what happened.
True, that's why I'm asking for life.
I know.
The court proceedings were filled with shocking details about the abuse and torture Blair inflicted on her children. Despite her outbursts and erratic behavior, Blair was found competent to stand trial. She pleaded guilty to the murders and was sentenced to life in prison, without the possibility of relief. Here comes the wrap-up of our case.
I'm innocent. Fuck you all. You're garbage.
Another case is another evil mother. Without further waiting, let's move on to case number 2. Julissa Thaler, a mother whose actions led to the tragic death of her 6-year-old son, Eli Hart. The case began on May 19, 2022, when Thaler shot Eli multiple times with a shotgun.
Blood all over the car.
What looks like blood in there?
It's not blood, it's deer meat.
Shotgun shells all over the side.
Holy.
After the horrific act, she drove around with his body in the trunk of her car. The police stopped her vehicle in Orono, Minnesota, after receiving reports of a car with a shattered window and a blown-out tire. During the traffic stop, officers noticed blood on her hands and found Eli's body in the trunk.
The person that takes a child from the world is the one that brought that child in. But that is what the jury concluded he did, and I respect the jury's judgment, and I respect Minnesota's decision about what the appropriate consequence is. Nothing I do would bring justice to this situation. Nothing I do would relieve any of the pain that you caused by doing that. But what is, according to law, the just and fair sentence for what you did is what Mr. Allard said, and that is life in prison without the possibility of parole. So I will judge you guilty of first-degree murder and issue that sentence. I will not imposing
I
the
can't
sentence.
hear you over your stomach growling.
Bottom line is that you are being sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole and installing.
The investigation revealed that Eli had been shot 9 times. Medical examiners confirmed that his death was a homicide caused by multiple shotgun wounds. Thaler's actions shocked the community and raised questions about how she had been awarded full custody of Eli just 10 days before his death, despite concerns from his father about her mental health and drug use.
We know these things about Eli because he was our little boy, our son, the center of our world. The love and connection he had with his son, that Tori had with his only son, was something I was privileged to see.
The trial occurred in Hennepin County District Court, where Judge Jay Quam presided over the proceedings. Prosecutors argued that Thaler's mental instability and ongoing custody battle with Eli's father motivated her to commit this unthinkable crime. They presented evidence that included cell phone data, linking Thaler to the locations involved in the murder. Thaler did not testify in her defense and declined to call any witnesses. Her defense attorney claimed there was no direct evidence proving she had fired the gun that killed Eli. However, the jury found her guilty of first-degree murder after deliberating for only a short time. During her sentencing hearing on February 16, 2023, Thaler addressed the court defiantly, declaring her innocence and expressing anger towards those present. Judge Quam sentenced her to life in prison without the possibility of parole, emphasizing the profound tragedy of losing a child to violence perpetrated by their parent. And with that, this case comes to a close.
This husband and wife are about to hear life-changing news. They're being charged with murder.
That is a charge called homicide felony murder. It is life without parole. It requires a DNA sample to be taken upon arrest.
His mouth drops in shock. He can't believe what he's hearing. His wife's reaction? She sobs uncontrollably. Tears streak her face.
Angela Alexi, a 24-year-old woman charged with the murder of her newborn son. The tragic case happened in East Point, Michigan, where Alexi gave birth to her son, Eli, in a garage during the winter without any medical assistance. On August 2, 2018, authorities discovered Eli's lifeless body after Alexi had allegedly stored it in the garage for weeks.
Starving their 10-month-old baby girl, Mary. The baby was so malnourished she had sunken eyes and cheeks and no pulse when paramedics found her at the Welch home outside Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Following the birth, Alexi failed to provide her newborn with proper care. An autopsy later revealed that Eli died from malnutrition and dehydration due to neglect. At the time of his death, he weighed only about 8 pounds, which is significantly underweight for a baby of his age. Investigators found that Alexi and her partner had not sought medical help for Eli, citing personal beliefs and distrust of the healthcare system.
They noticed the baby was, quote, skinny and underweight a month ago, but did not seek medical attention because of their religious beliefs and a mistrust in medicine and the government.
We're gonna do whatever we gotta do.
Welch has also posted more than 100 hours of video on his Facebook page.
This doesn't fit in with my worldly brain.
His Facebook page is filled with bizarre rants against government, the Harry Potter series, and even Disney characters. He also reads from the Bible.
The case drew attention when police were called to the home after receiving reports of a foul odor emanating from the garage. Upon arrival, they discovered Eli's body wrapped in a blanket. The conditions in the home were described as unsanitary, with evidence of neglect evident throughout.
A mother testifying against her husband today during her own murder trial. Tatiana Fusari says that horrific abuse and torture left her unable to care for her youngest child, resulting in the death of the 10-month-old baby girl named Mary. Fox 17's Julie Dunmeyer was in court today and has the story tonight.
Why didn't you take her and bring her to the doctor instead? I did not want word to get back to him.
Tatiana Fusari testifying Tuesday she tried to help her baby Mary Welch.
I always hoped that things would get better.
But the abuse she says she experienced at the hands of her husband, Seth Welch, was too much. She recalls one night when she woke up Welch to feel Mary kick when she was pregnant.
He got mad at me because I wouldn't let him sleep. So So he asked me what the wrong with me, and he rolled over to face me.
The trial occurred in Macomb County Circuit Court, where Judge James Biernat presided over the proceedings. Prosecutors painted a harsh picture of Alexi's actions and highlighted her failure to care for her child properly. They argued that she had the great opportunity to seek help, but chose not to. During the trial, Alexi's defense claimed she did not intend for Eli to die and was overwhelmed by her circumstances. However, the evidence against her was compelling. The jury deliberated on the charges of first-degree murder and child abuse.
My fear has not helped anything. I just don't want to be afraid anymore.
Fusari saying day after day she was raped by her husband. She testified he controlled her phone and even timed how long it took for her to get to and from work. The family schedule was printed out and she was made to follow it to the minute. Fusari's mother-in-law noticed in July 2018 Mary didn't look well.
At that time, I was feeding Mary in their dining room, and Judy approached me and commented on whether or not I was going to take Mary to a doctor. And I know that Seth was out of earshot, so I was able to tell her that Seth told me she was fine, but I'm going to talk to him about taking her to a doctor.
On February 16th, 2023, Angela Alexi was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. She received her sentence. Emotions ran high in the courtroom, and here this case came to an end.
Jordan was a special, sweet little boy who would have developed and bloomed into a special soul. It is our deepest sadness to have this sweet boy's life extinguished and buried in an unmarked grave. As a family, we love Larissa because she too is our family. However, we can never reconcile ourselves with her deeds. We hope that you take our thoughts into consideration when you hold Jordan's parent accountable today.
Let's begin with our next case. This is the case of Larissa Rodriguez, a name carved in shame for her role in a tragic case that shook Cleveland, Ohio, to its core. In December 2017, the quiet working-class neighborhood of Detroit Shoreway was rocked by a discovery that would discover a tale of neglect, abuse, and ultimately, the death of an innocent child.
You think I don't feel guilty for that? You think I don't? I do, okay? And you're making it worse.
Larissa, a mother of 5, lived in a rundown house on West 80th Street. Her son, Jordan, was just 5 years old when he vanished. At first, Larissa circled a web of lies, claiming the boy was in Texas with his aunt. But as authorities dug more deeply, the truth began to surface, revealing a scary reality.
I was sitting with Jordan. It was like Jordan gave me his last words.
Rodriguez admits to detectives that she and her boyfriend buried her son in their backyard.
It was Christopher's idea to bury your son in the backyard?
It was my idea, and he just did it. Just because I didn't want Jordan to be far away from me, I just wanted him to be close. I was not ready to let Jordan go.
She admits her boyfriend wrapped her son's body before digging a 3 to 4 feet hole and burying him. Her confession helped investigators find 5-year-old Jordan's body where exactly she said it would be. He was found with fractured ribs and other injuries.
The case took a harsh turn when police, acting on a tip from Larissa's brother, searched the family's backyard. There, buried beneath layers of dirt, they found Jordan's tiny body. Jordan had been dead for months, his disappearance concealed by his mother.
First, I want to say that the serviceman who made this phone call, it's so important that he did that, and I don't want him to go unrecognized because I can't imagine the trauma that he had hearing this. in a foreign country that his brother had done something like this, asking his brother to take accountability. And then because his brother doesn't want to be a man, he has to do it, but he did it, and I give him credit for doing that. The other thing that this case, I think, really drives home is that there's insufficient consideration given to the people that work in the criminal justice system. So I want to say to the police, to the detectives Remington and Diaz, I certainly know that your job is very difficult. And I look at these photographs, and it's very hard.
As the investigation developed, a picture of severe neglect came into focus. Jordan, who had special needs, had been subjected to unfortunate living conditions. The house was found in filth, infested with cockroaches and rats. The young boy had been denied proper care, his suffering hidden from the world.
Ma, I just wanted to let you know that I still love you, but I want you to tell me the truth and what really happened.
19-year-old Angel Alvarez is Larissa Rodriguez's firstborn son. Flanked by his aunt and his father, he begged his mother to tell him what happened.
Tell me the truth. I'm your oldest son. You never lied to me. I don't know why you would lie. And I just wanted to tell you I love you, and I'm going to get justice for Jordan. He's my little brother. You're my mother, but I have to do what I have to do.
A family torn. A mother they know and love, now charged in the murder of her 5-year-old son, Jordan Rodriguez.
We're bound to get justice for Jordan. This is what this all boils down to. At the end of the day, it's for Jordan. But Larissa, I love you.
The case went to the Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court, where Judge Nancy Margaret Russo presided over the proceedings. Prosecutor Anna Faraglia took on the task of bringing justice for Jordan, presenting evidence that painted a damning picture of Larissa's actions and inactions. In the courtroom, Larissa's behavior shifted from defiant to defeated as the weight of her crimes became apparent. The prosecution detailed how Jordan had been starved, beaten, and ultimately buried without dignity. Each revelation sent shockwaves through the gallery, leaving many to wonder how such cruelty could exist.
Your Honor, the defendant has admitted her guilt, and she stands ready to accept the punishment that the court deems appropriate at this time, and I thank the court.
As the trial progressed, it became clear that Larissa wouldn't escape the consequences of her actions. Faced with overwhelming evidence, she decided to plead guilty to involuntary manslaughter, felonious assault, endangering children, and offenses against a human corpse. Judge Russo, visibly moved by the case, sentenced Larissa to 25 years in prison. Larissa's partner, Christopher Rodriguez, also faced charges for his role in Jordan's death, adding another layer to this heartbreaking story. Let's close the book here.
She was dealing with depression and anxiety without treatment. Through an interpreter, Candelario said she's asked for forgiveness.
I'm not trying to justify my actions.
Pero nadie sabe cuánto yo estaba sufriendo.
But nobody knew how much I was suffering.
Dios y mi hija me han perdonado.
God and my daughter have forgiven me.
Here, we reach our last case. Crystal Candelario, a 32-year-old mother from Cleveland, was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of the death of her 16-month-old daughter. In June 2023, Candelario left her young daughter, Jalen, home alone for 10 days while she went on vacation. During this time, the toddler had no access to food, water, or care. When Candelario returned, she found Jalen unresponsive. The child had died from severe dehydration and malnutrition, a heartbreaking outcome of Candelario's reckless and selfish actions.
Her 16-month-old daughter was found in a dire state of neglect, her condition so severe that it rendered first responders speechless and brought hardened detectives to tears. As the investigation unfolded, it laid bare an even more shocking reality: the chain of events that led to such appalling neglect. We will examine the details of the Candelario case and confront the harrowing question that haunts everyone touched by this case. How and why could such a vulnerable child fall victim to what a judge has described as the ultimate betrayal?
Authorities were horrified by the details of the case. Jalen had been left in filthy conditions, with no adult supervision or means to care for herself. Candelario's decision to leave her child alone for such an extended period was not only neglectful, but also fatal.
Hay mucho dolor que tengo con respecto a la pérdida de mi bebé Yailin.
There's so much pain that I have in regards to the loss of my baby, Yailin.
Estoy muy dolida por todo lo que pasó.
I'm extremely hurt about everything that happened.
During her trial, the court heard how she prioritized her vacation over the well-being of her daughter, a choice that ultimately led to Jaylin's tragic death. The prosecution argued that Candelario's behavior was nothing short of monstrous, and the jury agreed. Judge Brendan J. Sheehan delivered a powerful message at her sentencing by handing down the maximum penalty. So, this case reaches its final chapter. Mothers are known for love, but sometimes they turn into Satan, killing their children and showing their brutal faces. With that, stay safe and tuned for more shocking cases.